Hello everybody, welcome to the third video of history's first lesson, Historiography Development in the West. Before this, we have almost covered all of the points, but the last one, that is notable scholars. So let's start today with notable scholars. So there are so many scholars who have contributed to the historiography. They have developed their methods upon their understandings. So one such scholar we will talk about. His name is René Descartes, and the scholar, he gave emphasis on verifying the reliability of historical documents. He gave importance that verification of the documents, historical documents, was very important, and he wanted to clear this, that the reliability of the documents should be critically examined. That's what he thought about the documents. Before these scholars, means I'm not saying, or I'm not talking about only René Descartes, but before this modern historiography's emergence, there was an narrative built up around history that was somewhat limited, conservative. It was only related to the deeds of the rulers or the gods. So people like René Descartes, they wanted to verify the historical documents critically by examining them, because they wanted the truth and truth only. Next, never to accept anything true. Never to accept anything true till all grounds of doubts are excluded. What he is saying here, that if there is even a single doubt, we should not accept anything. Here anything means what? Here anything means any particular kind of narrative or any particular understanding about an historical event. Okay, so what he is saying is that we should not accept anything true until all grounds of doubts means what? Grounds of doubt means that even if there is a single doubt, we should not accept that particular theory. This statement made him a great impact, made a great impact on the scientific method research, and because of this particular statement, his impact was great on the scientific method research. René Descartes was from France, and he also wrote a book, and his book's name is Discourse on the Method. Let's move on to the second scholar, and this scholar is Voltaire. He was also from France, like René Descartes. Now, Voltaire's original name was Francois Marie Arouet. Now, his opinion was that historiography should not be only focusing on objective truth or chronology of historical events, but also social traditions, trade, economy, agriculture, etc. Now, here what he was saying was revolutionary. Now, why revolutionary? You will say that the social tradition, trade, economy, agriculture, etc. We have learned about that in social science. You have learned about that because these people have changed the way of writing history or the methods of historiography. And when Voltaire said this, it was revolutionary at that time. So what he is saying is that we should not only focus on the objective truth or the chronology of historical events, or means any important person in the history born, he did something, he fought wars and all that. Not only this chronology of the historical events, only not, this is not important. He is not saying that this objective truth and chronology of historical events is not important. What he is saying is that the social traditions, trade, economy, agriculture, these things which are important because common man is also involved there, his life is also there. So this is what he is saying. Next point is understanding of all aspects of human life is important for history writing. Now, this was very unique and important because what he is saying here that we should also include human life in the history writing, because before that you all know what kind of history was written. So that's why this is also an important point according to Voltaire and according for history also. Because of such understanding of history or historiography or writing history, Voltaire is considered as the father of modern historiography. So this question has been asked in the exam so many times, so you would like to star it or IMP, very important question, or like that you want to do it. Okay, don't forget that Voltaire is regarded as the father of modern historiography. Let's move on to the next scholar. Now, this next scholar is George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. He was from Germany. Now, this person was from Germany. Okay. Now, according to Hegel, historical reality should be presented in logical manner. Means it should not be imaginary or imaginative. Okay, so he wanted that the historical reality should be presented in a logical manner. It should have a logic for that. Next is timeline of historical events was indication of progress. Means now timeline of historical events, it was an indication of progress. Now the chronology we have or the timeline we have of historical events, that shows us that the humans have made progress in these all years. That's what he is trying to indicate. Presentation of history changes over time as new evidences would come to light. Now this is a very important point he presented in front of the world. Presentation of history changes over time as new evidences would come to light. What does it mean? It means that there was a time when people used to believe that earth was flat in Europe. Okay, but then Galileo, Copernicus, these kind of people, they observed the sky, they observed the planets and all, the astronomy, all these things, and they understood that the world works on some fixed laws, and because of their research we came to know that earth is round, it revolves around itself, and it revolutions around itself, and also it revolves around the sun also. So that was something a new evidence, and as it came to the light, the presentation of history changed, right? So that's what it is all about. Okay, so that's what he is trying to present it in front of the world. Many scholars who differed from the scientific methods of Hegel said his historical methods were not of lesser quality. Means even if people had a different opinion than Hegel, okay, even though many scholars, they thought of historical methods of Hegel were not of lesser quality, means they also accepted this, that the methods of Hegel were reasonable, logical. Now he wrote a book called, he wrote two books actually, Encyclopedia of Philosophical Sciences, and the other one is Reasons in History. Okay, now according to Hegel, he presented a theory in front of the world, and it is called dialectics. We will learn about it now. Now, he said that to understand an event, we need to know the two direct opposites. Opposites means true or false, and good and bad. Now, what he's trying to say here is, let me present it in some simple words. He is trying to say that if we are talking about, or we are trying to come to a conclusion about a historical event, then we should focus on both sides, means good and bad, or true or false. If there are two different opinions, then we should think about both of them. That was his opinion. Now, this method of analysis, which is based on opposites, is known as dialectics, means true or false, thinking about true or false, or good or bad. Okay, both sides. This particular method was known as dialectics. Okay, and in this method, a theory is proposed at the beginning. At the beginning, a theory is proposed, and this theory is called as thesis. Okay, and then another contrary theory. Contrary theory means the theory that is completely opposite of the thesis. Okay, contrary theory is proposed, which is called antithesis. Now, this theory is called antithesis. Okay. After a thorough discussions of the both, a new thesis is proposed, which includes the gist of both, is called synthesis. Now look, after a thorough discussion, now what kind of discussions will take place? On the side of thesis also, and on the side of antithesis also, means good or bad, on both sides. Okay, if they are talking about an event and some scholars are of a different opinion, and some scholars are completely opposite of the others, then these both opinions will be discussed. And here, both, after discussions, both a new thesis is proposed, means by combining thoughts of the both scholars, or both thesis and antithesis, a new gist will be proposed. A new thesis will be proposed, and it includes the gist of both. Gist of both means what? Gist of both means that mixture of both thesis will be proposed, and it will be called synthesis. Okay, this is synthesis. Let me repeat this again. Look, okay, let's talk about it again. Now, what is dialectics? Dialectics is a method of analysis which is based on opposites. Okay, both opposite sides. Then a theory is proposed called thesis. Okay, then a theory that is completely opposite of thesis will be presented, which is called antithesis. Okay, and then after discussions on both thesis and antithesis, a new theory will be, a new thesis will be proposed, and this new thesis will be included points of thesis and antithesis, both. It will be mixture of both, and this will be called synthesis. Okay, it is very easy to learn. This is also important. Okay, don't forget that. And this theory is also proposed by Hegel. Okay, Hegel, don't forget that. Now, next scholar is Leopold von Ranke. Now, this person is also from Germany. First we talked about René Descartes and Voltaire. They both were from Germany. Then Hegel and Leopold von Ranke. These both scholars or gentlemen were also of Germany. Now let's see what Leopold von Ranke contributed to the historiography. Now he gave importance to the information gathered through original documents. What he was of the opinion, his opinion was that the information that we gather to write history should be gathered through original documents only. Then he also said that all documents that are related to any historical event should be examined with greatest care. He was of that opinion that any document that is related to any historical event should be examined with greatest care. Now, in simple words, he is trying to say that no imaginative narration of history should be made. Okay, whatever is true, whatever is truth should be written. Okay, next, he opined that it was possible to reach the historical truth. Now, it was his opinion that it's not impossible to understand what really happened in the past or about a particular historical event. Okay, it was possible that we could gather truthful information about any historical events. He disliked and often criticized imaginative narration of history. Now this is very important. Why? Because you all know, before the 18th century, before the emergence of modern historiography, no scientific methods were used, and imaginative narration of history was done. Gods, rulers, and all that. You all know that. We have talked about it many times. Okay, so this type of imaginative narration should not be done. Documents should be there, some inscriptions and all. These kind of things should be used so that one can understand how particular history is written. Okay, people should know the real history behind that. No imaginative narration should be made. There are two books he wrote. There are two books in which his articles are published. Okay, one is the Theory and Practice of History, and the other is the Secret of World History. These are the two books in which his articles were published. So that's all for right now. Thanks for watching.